Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Bold Explorer Live, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 4th of May 2018. Coming from St. Neots, Eton... Soken. And here we are, the lovely Simon Brown, back again. Although he's spruced himself up, he's scrubbed up well today, haven't you, Simon?
I have.
No, wait a minute. I'm fooling you. I'm fooling it. That's not Simon. It's not Simon at all. It's the lovely Sharon Brown. Sharon Brown!
Ta-da!
Ladies and gentlemen, now, Sharon, you're sitting in for Simon because Simon is very poorly, isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
He's very poorly, but we're going to bring him back onto the show to do the nibbles a bit later on.
That's it, yes.
So if you didn't watch us yesterday, we've got some very exciting blind tasting, haven't we?
Yes.
Which actually you've prepared.
Yes.
And it was quite successful yesterday, except that Simon Brown and myself had absolutely no idea what was in the nibbles.
No, you wouldn't make very good chefs,
No.
would you?
So do you think this time when we do them, we've got 2 more sessions of that, do you think we're going to get it this time?
Well, I think I'm going to do very well.
Yes, well, you know what it is.
Yes.
So when that happens...
I'm confident.
Yes, you're very confident. What do you think I will do?
Rubbish.
No, rubbish.
Yes.
Going by yesterday's standard. Anyway, we may have to fiddle around with that when it comes to the appropriate bit. But actually, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, Simon's okay. He's actually sitting off camera. Aren't you, Simon?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Simon.
Hello.
He's over there. He's from Ely. Not really. So let's see if there's anybody actually out there in Bald Explorer Land watching the show. So let's have a quick gander. Miranda, yes, we do have a few people. There's Pam Earnshaw, there's Mark Selwood, there's Judith Oakley, there's Simon Brown. Funnily enough. Maggie Walters, Anne Osborne, Dave Baker, Nigel Sadler, Andy Ash, many more joining all the time, which is fantastic. Thank you very much for coming along and joining. So we thought today you had a sort of glimpse, a tiny glimpse of the glamorous Sharon yesterday. So today we're going to find out all about Sharon. So you're married to Simon Brown.
Yes.
International star of stage and screen.
Yeah.
One of my longest viewers, ladies and gentlemen. And he models, doesn't he? He models for Builders Weekly.
Yes.
He's a lovely bloke. So how long have you known Simon? And how long have you been married for, if it's not a rude question?
I met him on Friday the 13th.
Oh, blimey.
A month before I turned 18.
Gosh, you've known him for a long time.
Yes.
I mean, obviously...
Yes. It is true.
It
is true,
may only be
actually.
3 years for all I know. But, so you've known Simon most of your life.
And we've been married 38 years.
Blimey.
And interesting fact,
Yes?
my maiden name was the same.
Brown. You're joking?
No.
Well, how about that? Has anybody else been married and have the same maiden name as the maiden name they chose? Were you disappointed?
Yes.
That you were going to end up still being a Brown?
Yes. Well, no. Yes and no. When I was a little girl, and you sort of think, I wonder what my name will be when I get married.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then it was the same.
Little boys don't have those thoughts, do
and
they?
it was very irritating because people say, oh, that must have been easy.
Yes,
you
of
didn't
course.
have to change your
You
name.
didn't have to think about
But
it.
no, every time you fill in a form to say you've gone for Mr. Mrs., you have to write a note saying, I'm not stupid. My maiden name was Brown.
Did you put Nee Brown? Sharon Brown, Nee Brown?
I've even sent in birth certificates and marriage certificates and they've still come back and queried it.
And say, no, we don't want your current name, love. We want your maiden name. That is it, Brown! Swines.
So it does get quite irritating, actually.
Yes, I can well believe it.
It's cool.
So you've known Simon all your life. Blimey, so it's a very strong marriage then.
Yes.
Yes, you have to think then. There was a moment
Yes,
there, ladies
it
and
is.
gentlemen. There was a little moment where, I don't know,
Yes.
it's a long old time. So you knew him just after you were 18. So how did you meet?
A sixth form party.
A sixth form party?
Yeah,
Blimey.
one of those classics in a village hall,
Local to here or have you moved around a lot?
I lived in Clop Hill in Bedfordshire.
Where?
Clop Hill.
Clop Hill, what
Clop
a
Hill,
name.
yes.
What a lovely... Yeah. Oh, I live in Clop Hill. How about you? Oh, hello, I'm from Ely.
And we did actually go to the same school, but I'm the same age as Simon's younger brother.
Right.
And we were in the same year at school.
Oh, okay.
And it was our year group party, but somehow Simon and his
Somehow
friends managed to go as well.
Wangle. I've got to get there to see that Sharon Brown. I'm going to make her my wife, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I'm going to give her a new surname.
Yes.
So Brown is spelt identical as well, I'm assuming.
We're both S. Brown.
S. Brown. Oh, yes, of course. Mr. and Mrs. S. Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite an unusual situation, isn't it?
And my grandparents did the same thing. They were both Sharp.
No, really?
And my granddad's brother and his wife were both Sharp as well. Sharps were very common in their local village, so it wasn't really.
Yes.
But no.
I'm sure they were very sharp.
Luton. And
Is that where Simon? Are you from Luton originally, Simon?
Luton.
Mate. Yeah, I'm from Luton.
Luton Airport.
Luton Airport.
Yeah.
How lovely.
Yeah.
There we go. Can anybody match that? Has anybody got parents who had the same name, or you both had the same name before you got married, and that sort of thing? Are you in? Oh, they're all talking to themselves amongst themselves. But never mind. Anyway, so what do you do now, Sharon?
Well,
38 years after meeting and getting married, you've got... Oh, I should ask, you've got children.
I have, yes. Well, we have children.
Yeah, oh, you both have children,
yes.
Of course, yes.
Yes, they're grown up.
They're all grown up, left home.
Got a wedding later this year.
Oh, amazing.
All that sort of stuff. So, yes, so they're off our hands.
So what have you occupied your time? Because Simon's been in the IT business.
Yes.
Has that been in that business most of his life?
Yes.
So that kept him out of mischief?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
what have you been up to all this time?
Well, originally I just did sort of admin jobs. I worked at the RSPB. We had...
The same place that we went to yesterday?
Yes, I worked there twice because we moved to America in the mid-80s.
Oh, did you?
We...
What part of America?
Philadelphia, near Philadelphia.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, it was very nice. 2.5 years we had there. And then when we came back, I went back to work at the RSPB again for a short time before I...
What took you to America? Simon's job? Simon's job.
Yeah.
So how did you find living in America?
It was really good. It changed me because I was quite... I was an only child and I didn't really do things by myself and I was a bit timid and...
So it broadened your horizons.
And I had to just do everything. Everything was new and I just got forced into doing things. So, I came back a much more confident person. It did me a lot of good, actually, I think. So
did you find coming back to England quite challenging, or did you sort of just get back into it very easily?
No, it was okay. We had 2 holidays a year back in England, visiting family. The company paid for, so we were coming back anyway.
Yeah. So you sort of got repatriate. What is the word?
I think the thing is, there are things about America that are better than here. And there are things that are worse, and vice versa.
Give us a good point about going to America.
Weather. You had definite seasons, so you had a definite winter, definite spring.
So was the winter really full of snow, and then the summers really full
cold.
of sun?
Yeah, actually the July, August were unbearable. It was so humid. You just lived in your air-conditioned car or house, and you didn't go out that much because it was just.
And what did you do in America?
I worked for Simon.
Oh, you worked with Simon?
And there was just him and one other chap that was sent out from this country to go there. And I worked for them part-time, and I volunteered at a local arboretum. I even volunteered at Planned Parenthood because I went with the woman that I'd worked for at in the Arboretum. She then got a job at Planned Parenthood, and I went there for...
What's Planned Parenthood?
It's
planning your children, family planning.
And they do abortions and stuff. It's a hot topic in America particularly.
Hot topic, very hot.
Yes.
So when you came back from America, what sort of period of time are we talking about now?
That was 88.
88. Had you had children at that point?
No, we had... I fell pregnant with Laura more or less as soon as we came back. That was the plan, really.
Yes. So then you became a mother and you did all motherly things and a bit of part-time work in the interim. Because I know later on you were into gardening and you were doing garden design. Yeah. So I was just sort of working my way to find out what gave you the interest for garden design.
Well, I did learning support at the local primary school where the girls went for a while and decided I didn't have the patience to deal with young children.
No.
Wasn't my thing. I mean, it was all right for a while, but it wasn't, not for me. Then I went back into sort of doing admin, working for a group of special needs teachers, typing up their reports on children and stuff like that. And then I thought, do I want to do this for the rest of my life?
Do you know, it's funny, because I had a moment when I was about nearly 20, and there was... No, Yeah, no, 18. I was 18, and there was this. I was working in a printing firm, and I thought to myself, I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't get it because careers teachers and people had put you off back in the early 80s. And but I thought, do I want to do this for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
And where will I be? So it's an interesting question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously you said,
well, gardening was my hobby.
Right.
The thing I really enjoyed. So I didn't want to be a gardener because I thought I can't physically. I probably
hard work.
can't. Yes.
Digging and carrying.
It's all right
things.
doing my own garden,
Yes.
but to do that all the time. So I did a
got into design.
garden design course. Yeah,
Oh,
open
right.
learning course as they call it, with a design college in London.
Wow.
And did
how
that
how
from
long
home.
was the course?
Well, as long as it took you.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah.
like in the school holidays, I didn't do anything
right,
with it because the
you're
girls were home
bringing
and
up
I
the
was
children,
doing all
of
that.
course.
But,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, but no. So it took me about a year, 18 months, something like that.
Oh, okay.
And then I did it for quite a number of years until my parents got older and they went downhill and all my patience was taken up with them and I didn't have the patience for the clients anymore.
Yes.
And all the, I just...
So was Simon supportive of all of that? Or was he...
No, he just went along with it.
He just went... You told him...
Yes, he does support me.
Yes.
Yes,
So
basically.
who wears the trousers in the
We
family?
are a partnership.
Simon's off camera.
Honestly.
I should have put a second camera on, shouldn't I? I could have had a second camera on Simon there. He is actually putting his thumbs up going, yes, it's okay. So there we go. So lovely. But since then, you've been doing some volunteering work.
Yes.
Tell us about your volunteering, because we went to a place, and we're going to talk about that a bit later on in the show, but we went to a place that you were doing some volunteering work.
I did used to
Why
volunteer.
were you volunteering in the first place? What makes you want to volunteer? Because it sounds like you've got a busy life going on there.
I did at that time because I had mum and dad and
Children.
I was doing the garden design and, the girls. But doing garden design, you only meet the clients.
Right.
And I missed meeting other people and just spending time with other people, being part of the team and that sort of thing.
Oh, I see. So
I thought, what can I do in volunteering? And I found we happened to go to Wimpole Hall and we were in the gardens, got talking to someone, taking photographs there, and he said, they have volunteers here, go and talk to the gardener and blah, blah, blah.
We should say Wimpole Hall is a big... a relatively large, well, it's a very impressive
National Trust
country pile with huge grounds, and we visited there today, and we'll talk about what it is, but I just wanted to sort of clarify what Wimpole Hall is. And so they have volunteers to help
hundreds of
because I suppose being National Trust, they need as many helpers as they can to keep the place going.
They like volunteers in every room in the house.
Oh,
then they'll take as many gardeners probably as they can have.
Did you get perks being a volunteer? Did you get free entry to all of National Health? Sorry, the National Trust properties.
You get discount off, like when you purchase things in the shop and that sort of thing.
Right, but you can't get free into the other houses.
I can't remember.
Can't remember. I mean, if you're digging up.
I think them
sorting out the rhododendrons for them, or pulling out the daisies or whatever.
But we were already members, so it
right.
didn't really affect us because we'd got the membership. So I'm not sure, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, so I went there for one day a week, gardening. But it was really hard work, I have to say. Back-breaking work because you'd do a whole morning on one job, so you'd be constantly, say, hoeing. For instance.
I see.
So your back's doing the same.
You're not doing variety of things
for hours, and then in the afternoon you might be doing something else. But eventually that's why I stopped.
It sounds like the Industrial Revolution all over again, sort of bit of child labour. Maggie Walters out there is saying that Simon and Sharon are such lovely people, which is very nice. There we are. See, Simon getting some praise there, and he hasn't actually done anything yet, so that's really good. Mark Selwood is asking, "Can I move in with you, Sharon and Simon, in your house? In your house? I'm house trained," he says.
Oh, good.
So yeah, you need to be. I'm not very house trained.
No.
Have you enjoyed having the Vobes here at your abode?
Well, it's been interesting. Yes, I did know what was coming. Really, didn't I?
It's a bit of a whirlwind, isn't it? You've
stayed before.
I know. I've stayed before, but we've not brought the show in. How do you feel about having the show here?
It's fine because we've got the space.
Yeah.
We've eaten tea on a
Laps.
Trays. I managed to find 3 trays that we've done. And,
I've enjoyed it immensely. It's been and for me, bringing the show somewhere else. And for you guys, I'd be interested to know, have you enjoyed seeing the show in different places? Because I'd like to do more of that, invading other people's places. Now, yesterday we had a word that caused a bit of a furore in the in the chat room, and I never get it pronounced right. So from the side, we're going to have the word shouted back into us, just so that we can remind ourselves what that word was.
Yesterday's word was zhuzh.
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 Zhuzh. Now we're not gonna play on that today, because we have a new word that came up as we were at Wimpole Hall, wasn't it? Yes, we were in a folly. We'll mention more about the folly a bit later. But you were reading a sign, I think.
Yes.
And up came this word. And it's a curious word, but as it happened, I'd already heard of it. Yeah. So, Sharon, maybe you could tell us what you were reading and then the word in question.
Well, it was to do with the construction material.
Of the folly.
Of the folly.
Which isn't really a folly, but we'll
No.
mention that later. And so this construction material... But we laughed at it, didn't we? Did you laugh at it, Simon?
It's a hilarious word.
It's hilarious. Now that we've set it up, it's not going to be hilarious at all, but we found it very hilarious here.
Oh, yes.
In preparation for the show. What was the word, Sharon?
Clunch.
Clunch.
It is quite funny, really.
It's an odd word, isn't it? Clunch. And what does clunch... Does anybody know what clunch means? It's not lunch. Have you had your lunch? Have you had your clunch? It's not that. Does anybody out there know? Have you ever sort of come across the word clunch? But it is a building term, isn't it? Or
yes.
So what is clunch?
Clunch.
Clunch. What is it, Sharon? Put us out of our misery.
I know it was limestone.
It was it was a limestone mixed chalky
limestone.
It was a soft chalky lime, a loamy sort of
which apparently doesn't last very long, which seems bizarre to use it.
A very odd building material. Clunch. Maggie Walters is questioning. Yes, I've had lunch. Yes, I know that. I know that word, says Graham Whittington. Well, of course, we knew that Graham Whittington would know that word. Of course he knows that word. Clunch. But it's when you tighten your buttocks, says Dan Thompson. Yes, thanks for that. Steve Pilford says, I know clunge from the In-Betweeners. Well, I don't want to know what clunge means. Maybe we'll save that for
from the In-Betweeners.
A later night show. Lime mortar. Kevin Hall, of course, is a painter and decorator by profession. So do you work in clunch? And where is Clunch? I'd like to visit. That will be one of our visitations in the forthcoming videos. Kevin Hall and I will go and visit Clunch in the afternoon, after lunch. So there we go. I'm a builder after all, says Graham Whitty. Well, we thought you were a professional photographer, to be honest with you. Anyway, so that's our word for the day. However, now, in front of you, Sharon, we have this rather delightful bell. Could you just test the bell and we'll see what happens? Waiter!
Normally, Simon turns up for his dinner.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Is that the
normal.
call?
Yes.
Is that really what you do?
It is, yeah. I'm in the kitchen.
You're in the kitchen.
Hello, ladies.
Slaving away.
He has been to work all day, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, so fair enough. That's fine. Yes. So, so what? He's sitting in his office.
Yes, and I get the stuff out the oven, and I go.
Oh, I see. Well, in yesterday's show, it had a completely different meaning. We had it was a signification that nibbles were coming.
Yes.
So now, this is the game that we played yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, which we're going to play again. We've got some more food, some more condiments we had yesterday. Is it condiments today?
Yes, maybe.
But you know what it is, so there's no point you coming out and bringing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Simon back in momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. He is the gent of the show. We will bring in the gent of the show. And Sharon is going to perform the same routine that she did yesterday by bringing out this.
Hello,
hello, Simon.
Hello, thank you.
How are you?
Having me back again.
No, it's nice. It's nice to see you back here in the film. Was it all right sitting there in the green room?
It's very interesting to watch the show from the side. Yes.
Did you know? Was that all true? What your wife said?
Every
about
word
how
of it is
you
true.
Met?
If you still, yes, definitely true.
You,
yes.
you weren't on
Yeah.
Tinder then, or any of those sort of
That's
things.
a good idea, but no,
No.
I wasn't doing that. No.
Not tempted since then?
Maybe. Yeah. Let's see what happens when we ring the bell.
Yes.
Changing the subject.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did yesterday. If you saw the show yesterday, it's the same old team. We're going to hide our eyes.
Right, shall we ring this first?
No, not yet.
Oh.
We're going to hide our eyes under a tea towel, and Sharon will come in and reveal to you the substance, I believe, what was going to be tasted. Then she'll retract that and put down whatever this in a little dish, and we will then take off our effective blindfolds, which are tea towels, and then we will try and work out what it is. You will know, and we won't, and you'll see how silly we are. So, I'm going to get my tea towel. Have you got your tea towels ready?
Tea towel's ready.
Righto. And away you go with the bell, I suppose.
Goodbye.
Called,
Goodbye.
sir? You called?
Hello. Yes, it's time.
Time for the tea
Once
towel.
again.
Okay.
Can't... Oh, I lost my glasses. Not that I can see.
Right, hang on.
There we go. Oh, yes. You can see perfectly.
Hopefully everyone can see.
Can you all see that? I've
Okay.
no idea what it is.
All done?
Right, okay.
Now,
No.
bear in mind, we mustn't look at the screen, because it'll come up on the screen, although it doesn't come up on our screen, because
No.
our screen has got stuck.
Okay. Oh my goodness! Look at
Yes.
this.
Oh.
That's interesting.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a little look at. Shall we show them what we've
Show
got
the
here?
camera
This
to-
is a strange. It's like a mustardy thing. I don't know if you can see.
It's a dressing.
Oh, it's a dressing. Of course it is.
Nearly
Yes.
spelt some- Okay.
So it's a dressing.
So what do we have
We're
to
gonna-
guess?
we're
The
gonna-
flavours, don't we?
There's 3 things you're supposed to get.
Oh, 3 things. Okay.
Okay, shall I
Yeah,
go
you
for it?
dip first.
I'll try
dip,
it first.
Dip. Who said that? Dip. Oh, it was the Scouts, wasn't it?
Scouts.
Yes. So, is there vinegar? It's got to be vinegar if it's a dressing. Or what's the other stuff? Olive oil. Is it olive oily? There's no vinegar in that.
Lemon.
Lemon. I can't get olive oil either.
Lemon,
No mustard. Oh, wait a minute. There is a bit of
me.
mustard.
Lemon, mustard, and
Cress. No.
that green. There's some leaves in there, aren't there?
There's no
Parsley.
There's no
Oh,
lemon.
chilli.
no lemon.
Ah,
There is a kick to this, ladies and gentlemen. There's a chili kick.
well done, Richard.
There's definitely chili in there.
Oh yeah, there is.
So lemon,
It's like
lemon, chili, and ginger.
No.
it's a bit
Not
like
ginger.
piccalilli taste, but with chili.
It's like a liquidized piccalilli with chili. It's pilly-chickalilli.
Piccalilli.
Chick-a-pilly-lilly.
Piccalilli.
I'm going to try it with the grasshopper food.
Have we got anything yet? We've got the chili.
We've got the
No
chili.
lemon.
No lemon.
I wonder what would you put that on? Oh, it's very strong, actually. It's very chili-fied. I'm saying it's a hot chili... No lemon, did you say?
No lemon.
No lemon. Hot chili. It's not vinegary at all.
What would it be? That liquid?
Well, sometimes it's...
Did we say
wait a minute.
We said mustard. Did we say mustard?
We'd said mustard. Is mustard in it?
No.
No mustard. Oh, God.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower. What's the liquid then? It's more than water.
It's rapeseed oil is the actual base.
Oh, topical.
Rapeseed oil. Yeah, well, we've had a lot of
Rapeseed oil.
pictures of rapeseed oil. I reckon the rest of it must be Spitfire engine oil.
Right, so I'll give you a clue. There's 2 fruits.
2 fruits.
So there were 3 flavours I'm looking for. You've got the oil.
We got the-
chili.
Got the chili.
And there's some fruits.
Fruit in
There's
there.
2 fruits.
It's not apple, is it?
No.
Not lemon.
Not lemon.
One of
Orange?
them-
Orange.
No.
No.
Simon doesn't like one of them.
Oh, mango.
Yes.
Mango.
You're doing very well tonight.
I've got
Well
2.
done.
2 out of 3, ladies and gentlemen.
I like
mango.
mango. So it's not that one. What don't I like?
What is the other one? Passion fruit.
Strawberries.
Strawberry. What goes with
Fruit.
mango? Banana?
No.
I like
can't
banana.
be banana. Gonna have to give in because time's
Yeah.
ticking on.
Okay, what's the final
We've
one?
got 2 out of 3.
Pineapple.
Oh, pineapple. Actually, now you
That's
say
the
that.
acidic bit, isn't it? Yeah. I
yeah,
like the lemon.
chili
Yeah.
and pineapple.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Very nice. I have a
Well,
bit
well
more.
done, us. We did quite well. Did you guess that at home? Of course you did. You knew what it was.
You did very well, Richard. That's very good.
Yes, there we are.
Good. Yeah.
Clothes. Clothes?
Clothes.
That's Elizabeth Houston. You should have seen it. You should have seen what it is, Steve. Just say, what? The spice hasn't managed to silence them, Sharon.
No.
No. Anyway,
Very good.
Fish oil. Ooh, no, it definitely wasn't fish oil.
You would have been.
So I wouldn't
left
have
the building, wouldn't you?
I would have left the building. Anyway, so there we go. That was our first nibble. We've got a second nibble, and the second one apparently
is
going to be very interesting. But so now, Simon Brown.
Hello.
It's time to kick you off again.
Okay. I'll see you later, everybody.
Yeah. Bye, Simon.
I'm off.
So there we go. That was the lovely Simon Brown. He's disappeared off into the wings, and we welcome back the lovely Sharon Brown, the S Brown Club.
Yes.
So there we are. We're learning
Exclusive.
something. Exclusive it is. Now, Sharon, we had a lovely day out today, slightly mad day.
Yes.
You could say.
Yes.
You don't suffer fools gladly, is what I'm sort of thinking.
No, I usually walk off, don't I?
But you were, look, the emojis are all coming back for you. Isn't that nice?
I always seem to be, yes, it is, it's lovely.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah, you sort of, when Simon and I get together, we're a little bit childish.
Really?
Yeah, had you not noticed?
No, blanket.
Blanket,
yeah.
So we went to an interesting place today. Can you tell a lovely viewer where we went?
We went to Wimpole Hall, that's the one you're referring to?
The first place. Yeah,
the first
Ely.
one was Ely.
Ely. Hello, I'm from Ely.
All day.
She's had it all day. Silly voices, mucking about, climbing on cannon.
Yeah.
You may have seen the pictures in the group, ladies and gentlemen, of the Vobie, one-eyed Kenobi, straddling even a cannon.
One thing I have learnt today is the strange looks that people give Richard when he's doing these things. There was a couple sitting on a bench while you were doing your cannon antics.
Oh yes,
and they were going.
Is he? Has he escaped the mental home? Is that what they? I mean, I'm used to the people when I've got my gimbal and the little camera on there, and I'm going, "Hello, I'm Richard Vobes from Ely," and I'm walking about doing my thing.
Yeah.
You're used to that, but when I'm sort of a bit carried away, as I was maybe a little bit. I didn't realise other people
Yes, I do. Yes.
Is it not normal behaviour?
Probably not, no. They've probably not seen anything quite like that before.
Mind you, Simon and I saw a chap on a bicycle who was cycling. It wasn't in a church graveyard, but it was in a.
It was a church.
Oh, was it? It was a churchyard.
Yeah.
A grass churchyard, and this chap, he's relatively dapper, wasn't he? For a scruffy old chap, on a bicycle, and he was cycling on the grass around this churchyard. And we wanted to ask him if he knew a particular type of tree, because we were doing some tree identification. All day you've had this, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tree identification. That's a maple, that's a London plane, that's a something else. And so we asked him, expecting him to be part of the area, because he was cycling, like the who was that Mr. Hodges in Dad's Army? He was the verger, wasn't he? There was the verger. Yeah. So I thought he would be like the verger. Oh, they don't like it up, Mr. Hodges. No, that was... Anyway, it doesn't matter. It turns out he was 6 sheets to the wind. He was as drunk as a 9-bob note. And he couldn't... As a 9-bob note. And he couldn't get his word. He slurred beyond all recognition. And yet somehow both Simon and I... knew what he was saying. We knew exactly what he was saying. So it was very odd. So I thought that was unusual behaviour.
It was. I was some distance from you two, sitting on a bench waiting. That's been my day. And I saw you two enjoying yourselves in this churchyard, and then all of a sudden you're talking to this bloke, and it was like, right, I could see you like...
edging away.
Yes.
Once we got the idea that he was
shaking the lip.
There's the mushrooms over there.
He was shaking the tree.
Yes, he was shaking. Yeah. We were trying to get some cones. There were some lovely cones. They were out of reach, and Simon wouldn't go on my shoulders. He wouldn't let me go on his shoulders. So I was asking this chap, about the cones, and he said, "Oh, you just shake the tree." And he was shaking. Anyway, none of these cones came down because we wanted to bring them on the show because they were quite big cones. So. He said, "Do you know what tree it is?" "Oh, there's a pine," says a tree. So anyway, that was by the by, really. But that's what you've had. You've had us doing that. But Ely is a lovely place. We went to the cathedral. What's the cathedral known as locally?
The Ship of the Fens.
And why is it called the Ship of the Fens?
Well, it's shaped a bit like a ship.
Yes.
And it's in the fens.
And the fens, but the ship bit refers to the fact that at one time the fens was flooded, wasn't it?
Yes, and it would look like it was floating.
Floating on water.
What did I read yesterday? It's
Words.
It's on a words.
Yes.
It's on a bit of a hill, which is all of 85 feet.
85 feet above sea level.
Yes.
But you wouldn't, when you're travelling around the Cambridgeshire countryside, you don't really notice the hills, do you?
No.
The inclines are quite steady,
Well,
unless you're from the area, and of course then you think you're going up a humping great mountain.
Yeah.
You've got your rope and your tackle and everything.
Yeah, but once you get out Ely Way,
it's
then
even flatter. Isn't
it's
it?
very flat.
And they're unlike because Julia, the lovely Julia, and I went to Glastonbury, as you know, and there you had the Isle of Avalon, and you've got these tors which are these great big giant molehills which just jut out, and there's a number of these little promontories, and they're so obvious. But in Cambridge, that sort of Ely part,
yeah, you didn't really notice.
it's such a gentle rise and fall that you barely notice that you've gone that 85 feet.
Yeah.
So it's quite a curious place. So, and the nave itself, 250 feet, the longest nave in the country.
Yeah.
Which is, and it's a colossal building, isn't it?
Huge.
Beautiful. I mean, very beautiful architecturally, and presumably built over different periods of time, and originally part of a monastery, wasn't it? Before it was a cathedral.
Certainly monastic buildings around it. So there's beautiful old buildings surrounding it as well.
Terrific,
lovely,
terrific building.
Yeah.
And then we did a bit of that. We tried to make a serious film, but actually, we hadn't done a great deal of research, ladies and gentlemen. So we were exploring it more than giving the history of it. It'll be a lovely film. It'll be a lovely film. Everyone will be proud of it. We hope. But but don't look at it for its history, of course. Just look for the exploration. We did find that there were a few loud screaming children.
Yes, everywhere you went, they followed.
Every time we were trying to film, there was something. There were aeroplanes going overhead. There were screaming children. There was a man with a strimmer.
Yes,
it was one of those days, really. And then you go past that. We went past some lovely cows.
Yeah, huge cows.
Huge cows. Some lovely trees. Simon and I did spend a bit of time investigating trees. You weren't so keen on the trees, were you? And yet you were into gardens.
Oh, yeah, I love trees. It's just that I'm walking ahead and I don't realise you two have stopped.
Ah, yeah, because we've got the banter going.
You're talking to it, and
I'm
walking ahead,
not
thinking
again.
You're right behind me.
Yes.
But
phased out from listening, that's us.
But then you're not. So,
yes, that's true.
And then I can't be bothered to walk back.
No, that's true. And there's us pontificating over some London plain and making stuff up and trying to video
they are beautiful trees.
They are, aren't they? Yeah. And some of the London plain up here are very old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, the huge girths, ladies and gentlemen, with the flaky skin. No, I'm not doing myself down. I know I shouldn't really, should I? But anyway, so then we went down to the river.
We just go a long way, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we went to the river.
What is the name of the river?
The Great Ouse, which is the same one that comes through St Neots.
It's a long river, the Great Ouse, isn't it? I don't know where it ends up.
It's something like the third longest in the country.
Oh,
or
isn't
something?
it? You've got the Severn. River Severn is the longest. I know that much. The Thames, I think, must be second. So the Great Ouse is probably the third.
Yeah.
And it comes out at the Wash. We saw some boards when we got down to the river showing showing how the drainage had shrunk the land down.
Yeah, the first time they tried it, which was
1600 or something.
Yes, and then the peat all shrank.
And the water came back.
The fields got lower than the river, and there wasn't enough fall for the river to drain, so it all flooded again.
Yes. So it
was only when wind pumps came
or something?
in, wind pumps, wasn't it, that they started to be able to.
You did all the reading. You see, to be honest with you, I nearly called you Martin then. Simon Brown and I were doing all the sort of bantery stuff and the little boy stuff, and you were being the serious, studious, keeping us together, which was exploration, not exploitation, says Steve Pilford. Is that right? Exploitation, yes, I think that's right. Exploration and drunks. What do you mean drunks? We did have a tipple at lunchtime. I have to say, we went to the Royal Standard in Ely, which is a bit of a strange pub. Well,
it was nice.
It was a nice pub. I'm not knocking it. If you're watching at the Royal Standard at this moment, which I doubt from one moment, It was just a bit...
Well, it was empty when we got there.
Yes.
Which was never
a good sign.
No.
Lunchtime. It was midday.
And they gave us A4 sheets for the menu.
And it did at first look like
It was quite It was all fancy.
It was all fat. See, I was paying, ladies and gentlemen. I said, "I'll take you out, no problem. I'll take you somewhere. We'll go to a pub lunch."
Gammon, egg and chips.
Yes, I was thinking, something nice and cheap and cheerful. But then it turned out to be a bit hoi polloi.
Yes.
And you should have seen the blood drain from my face. You've never seen anything quite so terrible. But
luckily, one of us had the idea to turn the A4 bit of paper over.
Yes.
And then there were sandwiches.
And then there was nice.
Yeah.
And actually, the
It was
food, I have
lovely.
to say, was
Really
nice.
nice.
It was
Yeah.
really nice. So
Yeah.
in the end,
and more people came in and
it was a bit of a buzzing
lovely.
atmosphere. As for the strippers, I'm not sure that they should be. But and then Simon, then the waitress comes over and says, "Would you like a drink?" And you had something.
I had an
non-alcoholic.
appetiser.
And Simon then said, and I was going to do my usual, "I'll have a black Americano, please." But Simon got in first and said, "I'll have a half a bitter." And I thought, "Ooh, that sounds nice." So we both had half a bitter. Now, I don't usually drink. I don't drink very much now. I used to in the beer show years ago when doing the old Vobes show stuff, but I don't drink. So I got about halfway through the half, so a quarter of a pint, and I was
giggling.
I was already. I was
like
on the
a girl.
floor. I was very much. It hit me very hard,
It did.
and it was only something like 4.6%. It wasn't exactly strong. Talking of beer, we do have some. We've got some beer tasting at the end of today's show, so we've left it to last because I probably would just keel over.
Yes.
So we did have a bit of a tipple, and actually, even Simon said, "Oh well, I don't think I'm fit to drive."
That's right.
So you became designated driver.
Yes.
So we had a lovely time at Ely, and the video will be coming out showing off the 2 lovely walks. But what was interesting is they're having an eel festival.
Yes.
At Ely, and a lot of people think that Ely's named after eels, but
Well, I don't think it is. I think there's a bit of contention about it. Some people say it is, but
because there's a lot of eels that do come from Ely.
Yes, eels are a well-known product.
Or a well-known
from the fens around
from the
there.
fens. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Do any of you eat eel? And do you eat eel?
No.
No,
I've never tried it, but it's not something I'd.
It doesn't
want
immediately.
To, really. No.
I mean,
No.
I'm sure it's like a steak, isn't it? It's quite a big fat thing.
Imagine it be bony. I don't know.
Do they have bones, eels?
Oh, I don't know.
Aren't they like snakes, but without bones? Because it's a fish thing, isn't it? It's like a big, long... It's a horrible, slimy, nasty, grey... Who would want to eat that? Has anybody had eel, and what did you think? We're very interested. Posh Nosh, says Maggie Walters. Andy S says, "Did you tuck your shirt in, Richard?" Oh, because of the picture? Yeah, there's a picture on the group where my shirt's untucked. Yes, not half then, Richard. Dave Baker. Was the half a beer before... Oh, I've lost it. Before or after the Canon antics? That was on the way back, yes.
Yeah, it was before.
That was after. There's a photograph of me astride of the Canon. I have a big weapon between my legs, ladies and gentlemen. And that's not just boasting. Sarah Paul says, eels are getting really rare, so they don't encourage you to eat them anymore.
All right.
Even though they've got an eel festival with eel-shaped food all round Ely this bank holiday weekend. So that's interesting. Andy Ash is saying what I was describing was tuna. So... yeah, so maybe... Oh, is it tuna? What's tuna like?
Tuna's a big fish. Huge.
It's a big fish. Yeah, I'm thinking like a, a wibbly...
a
wiggly, woggly thing. Cushtyfield, don't drink and drive because you'll spill it when you go round corners. Very wise. Yes. Very wise. It's a snake-like fish, says Jennifer Stewart. An eel. That's what I thought I was describing. But Julia, the lovely Julia, one should say, says eels have backbones.
There you go.
You're right.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Thanks, Julia.
As ever, I've got it wrong. And she says, I think eels contain toxins from the water. So there we are, don't eat them. Anyway, talking of eating things, I think it's time for number 2 nibbles. Let's see if we can get Simon Brown back to do some more blind tasting. Round 2. Here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a big round of applause. The amazing, the sensational, the model of the Building Society, Simon Brown. Hello, Simon.
Time for more nibbles.
Time for
I'm
more
here
nibbles.
For the nibbles.
Yes, I'm sure you are. So,
Lovely.
I'm going to get
Oh,
my...
should I ring the bell? Oh, no. What do we do?
Put
this on.
Sharon is there. She's all
really?
ready and waiting.
Oh,
So
yes.
this is round 2 of our nibbles. You know the score, so we'll just crack on to
2.
it. 1, 2, 3.
Ring the
Here
bell.
we go.
Careful.
So, yes. Sorry, I lost for words for a moment. So there we are. Sharon is showing it. Hopefully you can see it.
Can we take
now
the towels down now?
Now, actually,
Yes.
towels down.
Towels down.
Towels down.
Oh my god.
I actually wish I hadn't bought it.
Ah.
Oh,
Dear.
that's a clue, is it?
That's a bit scary, isn't it?
We've got 2 spoons.
Well, I thought you might want spoons because it's not a
Oh, yeah.
bubble thing, is it?
And it's sort of like... Oh, I can't see. Hang on. I need to put the thing on. Here we go. Have a look at this. It's difficult to see. The lighting here isn't very good.
Seeds
Crumbly.
or pellets or...
It's like a...
No, just pick it up, maybe.
It's like a hundreds and thousands type thing, but not. I'm wondering if it... Now, is this a condiment?
I think you could mix it
Sprinkle
with
it. Would you
things, or
sprinkle
sprinkle it on something?
Sprinkle it on.
like,
It's a sort
like
of... Is it a
yogurt
salty thing? Well, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was going to be crunchy,
But
but it's soft.
Yeah, I'm going to...
it's soft, isn't it?
Have you tried it?
No.
Oh, you know what it... Ooh,
Oh.
that's disgusting. Not sure I like that. That's... Hasn't got one recognisable flavour in it.
Oh, God. I
It's
don't
a
like
bit...
that.
No. Ooh, that's horrible.
It's musty, isn't it?
It is musty. What the hell is that? It's
Are you sure it hasn't gone off or
it's
anything?
perfumey. That's what it's... Is it perfumey in my mouth? It's like... It's like, ooh. Not keen on that.
No.
No.
Not even mixed with something, I don't think.
I'm not surprised. Did it come in a big bag?
Is it...
No, it came in a
box?
jar.
Oh, it came in a jar.
Oh.
It's not a curry. It looked like a curry hot thing.
Yeah, it's not hot, is
There's
it?
no hot in
It's
it.
a sort of fruity taste.
It is like it's like mouldy fruit.
It's like a, musty fruit.
Musty. It's like mothballs that have been crumpled up. I don't know what
But with
that is.
hindsight, personally, I don't think anyone should buy it.
No. Ooh.
I'll tell you, not because of the taste.
Not because of
when
what
you
it is.
know,
Is it powdered eels?
Is it somebody's balls? Is it?
well,
Is it human anatomy?
no.
No. It's possible to buy this in a shop. Where
Got
did
a
you
bit
buy it?
Stuck in the back
Oh, I
of my
know. Hang on.
throat.
Where's that water?
Yeah.
Here we go. I've got to have a glass. Oh, that was disgusting, ladies and gentlemen.
I bought it from Holland and Barrett.
Oh, is it a health food?
Yeah.
Is it? Wait, hang on. Is it a seaweed type thing? No. Oh, right.
No.
Okay. Holland and Barrett. It is it? It must. Is it an earth thing?
No.
It's not a moss
No.
thing. No. Just trying to think what
It's
Holland
not
and Barrett.
seedy, is it? It's not seed. Is it chopped up something?
No.
Is it? Is it plant?
No, but it's made by plants.
It's not seeds.
It's not seeds. It's not a
made by
plant.
plants.
Is
Yes.
it consumed by an animal?
Yeah, sort
Is it
of.
poo?
No.
No. Has it passed through the animal?
No, that hasn't, no.
No.
That
Is it
hasn't.
pollen?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, is it? It's pollen.
It's bee pollen.
Bee pollen.
What does that mean?
Well, bee.
Well, you know, a bee collects the pollen and it collects on their
On the legs. All right.
Oh, right. And so what do they do? Scrape that off the bee's
Well,
legs?
apparently,
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This will be good.
after I bought it, I was
Yeah.
reading about this, and I mean, obviously, this is off the internet, so who knows?
Oh.
But
Did you buy it off the internet?
No,
Could be
I
any,
mean, I-
any old rubbish.
I googled it after I bought the jar,
Yes.
and apparently they put some sort of like a comb thing on the entrance to the hive, and then so the bees land, and when they go through this comb thing, it's supposed to comb off the pollen
Oh, I
sac
see.
off
So,
their legs.
so the poor bees go out into the field.
Yes.
They collect all this pollen, and then they're flying back to their hive, only to, as they brush their way into the hive,
Cat litter. Yeah. sorry.
it's all been cat litter.
But-
Bee bogies, says
Yeah.
Maggie Walters. Yeah.
But then I read that some
Oh, I can't get rid of the
no,
taste.
sometimes their little legs get pulled off with
Oh
it.
dear.
The bee's legs get pulled off.
Yeah, apparently sometimes.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, no, this isn't.
No,
this
don't
is
buy.
wrong.
What's it called? Bee pollen.
Bee
That's
pollen.
a
It's
bee
supposed to have all sorts of
goodie.
yeah.
Yeah.
What
It's-
about
it's
people
like
who
a
have
new
hay fever?
Superfood. We just stick to honey.
Allergies.
Wait a minute, I've got to get some of this. Can you bring back that other stuff? That was nice. I need to get rid of the flavour.
That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We won't have any of that. Thank you very much. God, disgusting.
Oh, wow. That was amazing.
Well, you learn something on this show. Don't go buying bee pollen, because now you understand how it's collected. And it's not only that. Superfood is disgraceful.
Interesting.
I think
it
might have been Maggie that earlier on, when I put my post on about to put up with you two today, she put something about find them something disgusting and weird to eat. So I think hot and weird.
Who was that? That was Maggie, wasn't
Maggie
it?
says, "Job well done, Sharon."
There, thank you, Maggie.
Oh, thank you,
I said
Maggie.
I thought I'd got two things that would fit the bill.
Oh,
get my own back. For
yes,
today.
you did get your own back.
No.
So, okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to talk about the Wimpole Hall and thing, but let's go to the group and see what the group's, and then we'll talk about Wimpole Hall, because I feel that we could just do with taking the vision off us for a second whilst we spew up into some sort of bucket. So, in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into the group and see what... now, Simon, you actually... we'll come back to the one that you're going to talk about as the last resort. So here we go. This is the group, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do this now. This is prerequisite in the show. I don't know what these fingers are for. I've really no idea. So on the group, in the gallery today that you've been posting in the Bald Explorer group, thank you very much for doing that. It's so nice. We start with this lovely looking one. And this is Sarah Poole has been posting pictures around Saffron Walden, which is... Have you been to Saffron Walden?
Saffron Walden many years ago.
It's lovely. It looks very... There's many more pictures there. I've just picked out one at random just to represent it. But that looks absolutely fantastic. Do check those out. We've also got Matthew Holdsworth. He's been to the URC Church in Red Hill. What is URC? Is that
United Reform?
United Reform, of course it is. They're playing Liverpool next, aren't they? After the terrible win that's been, I don't know. I heard they were playing, but I don't know what they were doing. Mark English, Mark with a Q, is waiting there outside the new Lidl store that's just been put up. That is Kit's Cotty House in Kent. Which looks very nice. I didn't think there were megalithic stones in the area of Kent, but there we are. So I know that the lovely Julia, you'd like to go and visit something like that, so we'll have to arrange something. Also, on the in the thing, the gallery, is Linda Kane has been to... I'm just trying to read that. Sheely Bronze. I don't know what... Actually, I'm not quite sure where I don't know where that is, actually. I'm so sorry. It's a picture. I couldn't work out where you said it was, so he's going to move swiftly on from that one. This is Julie Ann Kench has been to Hailsham at the Common Pond. And it's nice to see the blossom out at the moment. You see that daffodils are still out there. They're dying in some parts of the country already. It's amazing. They don't last very long. So thank you for doing that. Of course, Graham Whittington also has put a lovely picture of a aeroplane. No description of what it is or where it is. So that's very helpful. If you do bung stuff into the group, it would be useful just to say where it is and what it is, because not all of us know these things, particularly me, because I'm as thick as a walnut. Meanwhile, I know where that is. That's Ed Warren's house. And he says, the joy of working from home on a day like today, which has been glorious sunshine, is being able to sit in the garden. And it looks like he's freshly cut the grass. Yes. Well done to you, Ed Warren, which is lovely to see. Now, this one I know Julia was particularly keen on because it is her palette. Look at that. Beautiful purples. And that David Keel put that on. And that's so nice to see. That's in the Meon Valley in Hampshire. I do intend to go round the Meon Valley and do some walks around there because it's not a million miles away from me. Certainly not a million. Like anywhere in England's not a million, obviously, clearly. Cushty Phil, he's still got some rapeseed, not the oil, in the background, and an old disused farm roller there at Kithurst Hill on the South Downs. Lovely to see. Sharon Brown has taken a candid shot of her husband, looking very handsome.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the face that you had when you first met him? That's the face
Not
that...
looking at me, it wasn't, no.
That's the face that attracted you, wasn't it? Said, oh, there's the sort of bloke I want to be married to for 38 years. And then there's some other bald bloke who just happened to get in to the shot at the same time. And, oh yes, here's a little bit of information for Bank Holiday Monday. No, tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is World Naked Gardening Day, 5th of May, all day Saturday. So make sure you go out there and do your gardening in the nude. Do you do your gardening in the nude, Sharon?
Never.
You've never tried it?
No.
I mean, it's quite exclusive.
Yeah, we're not overlooked, really, are we?
Not overlooked. So tomorrow, you know, you could...
While you're here, you mean?
Well, no, when I've gone,
okay.
When I've left, you know, you could go out and give Simon a bit of a thrill with the old trowel. You could maybe go to the hive there and get him some more bee pollen.
No more bee pollen.
No more bee pollen. So be careful on that. Now, Simon, we'll talk about your thing in a second, about the hangers.
Okay.
You're going to talk about the hangers in a minute because somebody's posted. We'll get to that in a second. But so where did we go? Where did we go today after we went to Ely?
That's when we went to Wimpole Hall in Cambridgeshire.
Wimpole Hall, yes, that's right.
Yes.
And now Wimpole was this grand house, and there are some photos, I think, up on the group. I haven't actually got any here to hand to show you, but there was an interesting thing about Wimpole Hall, because not only is it a lovely house with a ha-ha.
Yes.
We did have a look at the ha-ha.
Yes.
And in the grounds, but they built something which you and I, and maybe you guys out there, might ordinarily call a folly. And it's not an unusual thing to do, is to build a folly in the, whenever it was, 17th century, something like that? 18th century?
18th century, yeah.
You know, because often these landed gentry people, you know, they're not happy with having a lovely, great big country pile, but they want to enhance it by having some old ruin in the background. And unfortunately, the ruin isn't there, so they build a folly. But in this case, we're not supposed to call it a folly.
No, they like to call it the Gothic Tower.
And it is a smashing tower, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a beautiful tower.
Yeah.
The Gothic tower. I wonder if
it's not just a tower, is it? There's walls with it as well.
Walls have ears. I'm just going to see if I can quickly find a picture of the... this might take a few seconds to organise this list. I'm going to find a picture of the tower because I should have prepared this at the same time. So you're going to need to keep talking whilst I find it. So tell us, this tower was made out of... Clunch. You haven't got the sound, have you? The little... No, he's lost the sound.
Yes.
The sound of the clunch.
So the pretend ruin...
Yes.
Which was built in the 18th century.
Oh, yes, there's an interesting story related to
Over
this.
the years, actually became a real ruin.
Yes.
And was falling down. And when we first started going out to Wimpole, well, I don't know how long we've been going, 20 years maybe, it was all fenced off because it was too dangerous. The bits were dropping off it all the time. And it was all just overgrown and full of nettles. But then, I think about 4 years ago, it was... zhuzhed up.
It was zhuzhed up, was it?
Zhuzhed up. It was renovated and it won some major, European Conservation Award or something like that. And it looks a really fine folly. Gothic tower.
Yes, it does. It's a magnificent...
It's beautiful now.
Folly tower. And I'm just going to bring in a picture here so that we can have a look at it. I've just about managed to do this here live on the show. So here we go. There is part of the folly. It's actually a bit bigger than that, isn't it?
Yes.
It extends back, but and it looks like an old castle that's fallen to bits, as you just explained.
Yeah.
And it's 2 stories up. There is a door. You can go in there, although it's not open to the public. But it's a beautiful building. Although what's interesting is on the back of it, it's made of brick, and then it's faced with this stone, which is this clunch.
Yeah.
Which is this sort of clunch material. I've got a bit of video. I've got a bit of a video here. Have a look at this, and you'll see the background behind us. There's a little moment where we're talking, but have a look at this, and you'll see what I mean. Here's the last part. That's the last slap. It's been hard working with these two. Well done, mate. It's been very hard. Have you enjoyed yourself?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Not with the Vobes?
No.
No? Okay, let's just try over with Sharon. Has it been worthwhile?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose.
It's been great. It's been fab, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm.
You've done very well. It's good. Oh. Go.
I just thought I'd use that in the show tonight, that little bit. Right, so here we go. So, there it is. So that's the lovely. So did you see the brick behind us? I'm sure you did. Anyway, we're running out of time, and there's a couple of things that we're meant to get to, and I've completely forgotten. One of our lovely listeners, one of our lovely viewers, keep doing that, listeners, it's from running a podcast for too long. Chris Monk, very nice bloke. He is in the middle of designing a walking app for your mobile phone. Now, I know that there are probably apps like this already, but he is designing one that's going to be particularly interesting and useful for the group and for us, and he wants some people to try it out. Now, if you're interested in trying out an app on your phone, you need to get in touch with me, richard@vobes.com, and I will give him the email addresses, and he will give you access to the server. So what is the app? The app is you download it, and it's a walking app. So you need your phone with the GPS on, and it will track where you walk. And from what I understand, you can take pictures as you walk, and it will load it onto the app so that other people can follow the app and see where you've been and see the pictures and all the rest of it. Now, I think Google do something like that and all the rest of it, but I think there's some sort of extra communication and chatting thing and various bits and bobs. But I'm going to do an interview with Chris and find out more about it. But if you're interested in being one of the app trailblazers, blazers. Yeah. That's it. If you want to wear a blazer when you're wearing the app, then do get in touch. So that would be good. Also, wanted to just very quickly, because I did ask Tom Crawford. Here is Tom's lovely picture. Tom's a new member, and he's been putting some nice pictures into the group. And here it is. These are two hangers that Simon has a bit of a story. You're going to have to come in and poke your head. Can you poke your head between the two of us?
Yeah, hello.
So just tell us where they are.
These are at Cardington, near Bedford.
Could you lower your head so we can see a bit more of you? That's lovely.
Hang on, just give me a gap.
I'm
going to go too far down there.
Look at that. There we are.
Never get up again.
Never get up.
They're two large hangars near Cardington, and they were built for airships, and I think they are used now for the new airships that are being designed, and they're housed in there.
You mean there's new airships being designed
and test flown, although they've
for passengers,
for freight at the moment, but they had a couple of disastrous test flights.
Like this is where the R101 and the R100.
That's it. They're massive, and I was lucky enough to be able to go inside one. This was a long time ago. But I used to work in that industry.
Right.
And one day I worked in a different airfield, and we went to this place. And the way that they opened the doors at that time, because they were not quite derelict, but they were close to being derelict, is they had a massive Land Rover, and they kind of just drove the Land Rover at the door and used the Land Rover to push the massive doors open. And then drove the Land Rover inside, and it's huge inside. It's big enough. They
filmed various James Bonds in there, haven't they?
For all sorts of things, yeah. And then I was able to see a couple of they were barrage balloons they used to have in the war. We had barrage balloons, and we used to use those to send up instrumentation into the sky just above airports to measure various things, or near airports. And I was involved in all that kind of work.
Wow.
But it was great to go and have a look inside, and it's so large, almost big enough to have a weather system inside. Clouds will form.
So big enough to have a mini village in there.
Yeah, easily have a mini village in there, and you just don't get the feel of it from those photos.
From those pictures,
and these pictures that what's our friend's name?
Tom Crawford.
Yeah, Tom Crawford's pictures. They're really lovely. I think he lives near there.
He does. He said he did text.
That looks like you've got a bit of mist on those. It's in the morning mist or something like that. It looks really good. The trees haven't got any leaves on, so it's probably early this year, maybe, or in the winter at some stage.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, amazing buildings, really interesting to have a look at.
Fantastic. So there we are. You learn something every day in this show. It's not all silly and frivolous. Some of it's actually quite interesting. So thank you very much, Tom, for posting that. We're running right out of time, but it's 9 o'clock now, ladies and gentlemen. But as this is the end of the week, we're going to let our hair down. Yeah, some of us has already taken it off. And before we go, we're going to have a quick bit of beer tasting. So Simon's going to pop into the middle. And we're just going to have a bit of beer tasting because we used to run a podcast called The Vobes Show, and I would do beer tasting. And you like a bit of beer, don't you?
Like a bit of beer.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, this one. What's this one?
What have you got? What beer have you got?
This is Elgood's Warrior.
Could you show them the label? Elgood's.
Elgood's Warrior. And it's a reasonably local. It's from Wisbeach in Cambridgeshire, which is 30 minutes away from here. 5.5%.
You didn't tell me it was 5.5.
Quite strong.
Yeah, that is strong.
So we'll just have a sip.
I will sleep well tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
So let's
get it open because we're out on the time now.
This is where
Tom Crawford has just joined. Tom, we've just been talking about your photographs and we've been saying some very complimentary things. You can check it out in the rerun.
Very nice photos, Tom. Yeah, lovely.
So thank you very much for doing that. Everybody loves those hangers. Air balloon, says Andy Ash. Well, it's a bit more than an air balloon.
There we go. I'll just put that much in for now.
That's lovely. Look at the lovely colour of that, ladies and gentlemen. It's the lights here, I'm afraid, aren't brilliant, but you get a vague idea. Do you want some?
Glass? Yeah, sorry.
I think you do. You like beer, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Sharon likes beer, which is a bit unusual for a woman, but, she's an unusual woman. So what can you say to that? Other than I'm now digging a hole.
Yeah,
Julia, pass me the keys to the JCB.
Stop talking. I'll just have a little bit more just to make sure.
Nearly called you Julia then. Sharon, if you come into the middle. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say a big thank you to my hosts for the last couple of days. And, of course, they've got to put up with me for a little bit longer. We'll let you have some light as well. There we go. So to Sharon and Simon, thank you so much for putting up with me.
Thanks for coming. It's
all right.
been fun.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Had a great time.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers to
and
everybody.
thank you for giving them warm support in the show. Cheers to you.
Yum. Better than bee pollen.
I bet it is. Oh, that's very nice.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
And actually, that's nicer than that beer we had today, which was a local Ely bit. There was something swimming around in the...
You're not from Ely, are you?
No. Hello, I'm from Ely.
Cheers,
Not that
everybody.
they talk like that. So thank you so much for coming along and doing whatever it is that you've done. But, ladies and gentlemen...
Just had a sip.
I have one sip. So, when you hear... Hang on, I'm not quite ready.
When you hear this music...
Let's chime together, you guys.
Chiming.
1, 2, 3.
When you hear this music... Cheers, everybody. Yeah. Cheers.
It's time for us to drink up to your health, and thank you for coming, and we will see you again in the future.
Bye.
Bye.
See
Thank
you next week.
Bye for
Ta-ta.
now.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.